What is the Ohio State football program? This is not a rhetorical question. You may say number one team in the nation. You may say one of the best recruiting classes, transfer portal classes. You could say they're overrated, underrated. What's your pulse on the program, whether you're a fan or not? I would love to hear those opinions. But what I want to talk about and what I felt like is the theme by most fans is this is a make or break year. Like if they do not meet a certain expectation, Ryan Day should be fired. And what this video is about is that expectation. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into that because there's a bunch of different paths. We could go through damn near like Doctor Strange, every single scenario that happens, but I'm going to try to stick to just kind of the most likely options. Obviously, if they go 5-7, fire Ryan Day. If they just win 8 games but beat Michigan, you're still firing him, right? And then to explain why he has a hot seat is just because, let's be honest here, what Ohio State has to do is win national titles and beat Michigan. Well, Ryan Day has never won a national title with this program, and he hasn't been beating Michigan over the past couple of years. This is a sport based off what you've done for me lately. He hasn't been beating Michigan over the past couple of years. That's the bottom line. But before we dive in, you clearly have a little bit of an interest in football. Give me a chance to talk some more football with you at Rush the Field, man. Whether that's a like, a comment, subscribe, just watching another video. I appreciate every opportunity you guys give me. And if you're a returning one, thank you for giving me a chance, man. I cannot express enough how much I appreciate you guys. It means the world to me. I love talking football. To the more casual college football fans, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you're someone that just pays attention during the actual football season and you're not a sicko like me talking into a microphone and a camera, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to say it in a negative light, but for a more casual college football fan, they may see the record for Ryan Day and be like, why would you fire someone like that? It's based on the things I said, right? Like if you're not beating Michigan, you're not winning titles, I don't care what the record is. You got to get those two things done. And so that's why his seat's a little bit warm, right? Like I don't think it's as warm as people are trying to make it to be because I don't think the expectation should be winning a national title. In the first year of the 12-team playoff, that's a lot, man, because what else is out there for you to go grab, right? Like you could go take a swing at like Lance Leipold, and like not saying those are bad head coaches, but you are risking a lot there because he has built up plenty of relationships with recruits. He's been showing the ability to build class after class, talent rosters that are just insane. Most teams would dream of having. And to be honest, the reason why I made this video is when you look at that roster, as great as it is, right? There's a lot of guys that are just not draft eligible. This team could just be right back where they were the following year. So they wouldn't classify this season as a make or break because what if you fire a guy like Ryan Day and you lose a ton of the guys in the recruiting class to the transfer portal? Like as much as people want to streamline the expectations because you're able to bring guys in like Quinshon Judkins, like Caleb Downs, that the expectations should be a national title. And I know like, man, I know I just said you have to win them, but like, it's not like if they lose this year, they're all of a sudden out of contention. You are risking being out of contention if you fire Ryan Day. Like, could he be more aggressive? Yes. I think he's still developing as a head coach. And if you want a more finished product, like, let's be honest here. What is out there for you to go improve at the head coaching position? Like, I'm sorry. I don't think it's out there, especially during the college game where you have a lot more guys that are wanting to be NFL coaches because of how stressful this game has become with the transfer portal, with NIL. I think Ryan Day is doing a fine job. Obviously, he's not meeting the expectation that you have to. And if he loses to Michigan with the rebuilding year that they're about to have, point blank period, you fire him. But what I think is getting lost is there's a lot of people that aren't just taking that as the base value. Obviously, if you lose like Penn State, Oregon, all these different things, if you're not in the Big Ten championship, there's a lot of different factors that go into it. I'm saying the scenario of what they've been doing over the past couple of years, say even if they lose to Oregon this year, but they just end up facing them in the Big Ten title, you got to beat Michigan this year. And you have to have a good record doing so. And I think they'll be able to do that. But once we get past that step, right, that's where I think the flux and expectations really start to get a little crazy, where people are like, hey, if they even make the national title and lose, you still fire them because you can't win the big one. Well, with the 12-team playoff, he clearly won like a couple games leading up to that on top of the Michigan game. And let's not forget, man, like as people want to have the revisionist history, they were right there beating a really good Georgia team. That was the national title. If we're being honest here, listen, I am one to defend TCU all the time, but that CJ Stroud, Stetson Bennett duel that came down to a field goal, that was the national title. Those were the best two teams in the nation. As good as that TCU team was, Ohio State probably would have done the same exact thing to them. And I don't like doing the hypothetical game because I want the history about that TCU team not to be super ugly. But let's be honest here. CJ would have dotted them up like he did to Michigan State. And so, like, I'm not trying to bury the lead, but like the floor of what Ryan Day in this program has to do is what I said, right? Like, and I think this is what should be the standard: is you beat Michigan, you have a really good record, you potentially won the Big Ten. And I even think if they were to lose, like, say they beat Oregon, lose to Oregon in the Big Ten championship, they would still make the playoff. Regardless, you have to make the 12-team playoff. I think that's the other set, right? And as I talk it out, right, you got to beat Michigan. You got to make the 12-team playoff. I think if you do the bottom one, you probably made the top one, right? Those are the top two things he's got to do. I don't think Ohio State fans would be happy if they were just a 12 seed, but I doubt if they are making the playoff, they're going to be a 12 seed. So those are the two things, and probably win one, right? I think, I don't know if Ohio State has the balls to fire him if they were to lose in the first round. But then again, like, when you're a program with that high of expectations, I could see that. But if you win a game, I don't know, man. Listen, like I said in the earlier part of this video, they are racking up recruits like crazy. They are on fire on the trail. Like, there's no way around that. They're going to have great NIL resources. They're going to be right back there next year. And like, it's the same thing. We just watched the Celtics win the NBA Finals. People for years were trying to break up the Jays, trying to break things up because 4 or 5 years, it just was not working. I'm sorry. Like, sometimes sticking it out and seeing it through, especially with head coaches, don't try to streamline timelines just because of some of the access that people have with transfers and like all those things. It doesn't mean Ryan Day is just like a mascot. He's not Nick Sirianni, guys. Could he be more aggressive? Yes. I think that's like one of the biggest things he needs to improve on, is be a little bit more aggressive. But then again, like, these are such close games. We can nitpick every single decision he made, but he was right there with Georgia. He was right there with some of those Michigan games. Like, actually, some of those Michigan games, not so much. Kind of let Donovan Edwards take over that. But you got to beat Michigan. You got to be in the 12-team playoff. You got to win a game or two. But saying the standard, right? If they take a bye and lose in that next game, man, like, this is what I mean. We could be like Doctor Strange, diving into every single scenario. But like, this is where I kind of want to open it up to you guys, because they're going to be right back where they were last year with a good team. Julian Sayin in his second year. Caleb Downs is not available to go to the draft yet. They have a ton of talented players coming in. They could bring in another transfer portal class. Just keep trying at it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, people want to really like start diving into the like definition of insanity, trying the same thing over and over. I think there's just a chance that it might click one of these years, and you're risking a lot thinking the grass could be greener on the other side. And basically, you know, this could crumble so quickly. As much as I believe in Brian Hartline, it'd be a big jump from a wide receivers coach all the way to a head coaching position. Now, you would keep a lot of the wide receiver talent, but I don't know, man. This is where I want to open it up to you guys. As I start building up these Big Ten predictions in this preview, we're going to do a Big Ten tier list coming up soon. But Ohio State is such a complex situation, specifically with Ryan Day. I'll talk about the roster and what their schedule looks like when we get to them. But this was a Ryan Day specific video. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you next time.